Today, we have gathered to witness the punishment of the worst crime our very own queen could do, Servus announced, echoing his voice for everyone to hear. The punishment of treachery and infidelity. Everyone gasped in astonishment. The Magi couldn't believe that the human woman their king chose as his queen would have the guts to betray him. The human maidens were horrified, especially those that Azalea shared a house with. Azalea, the queen whom the king loved and doted on so much, betrayed her husband? Infidelity? With whom? For indeed, no one knew that Azalea had a lover. That was if she really had a lover. The crowd murmured amongst themselves with different opinions on the matter. Some believed it was all a misunderstanding and the king was just angry. Some said that there was a high possibility, saying she was pampered too much, trusted too much when she should have been just a mere woman used in procreating. Most Magi thought of the latter, while the captured maidens thought of the first. Outnumbered, more yells supporting the punishment could be heard all around the Colosseum. Amidst their wild shouts and chants, the king remained fixed on his throne, with nothing but deep hatred from his eyes. A faint dark aura could be seen radiating from his skin, though the shades from the wall and roof that his throne was in made it impossible to be seen from afar. Nephastus' smile and glare fixed itself onto Azalea as she caressed the king's shoulders. Servus continued his speech, stating the laws that Azalea apparently broke, and the punishment that she would be receiving. With all of those laws she broke, the punishment that she would receive are as follows. First, she will be dethroned from her position as queen. And second, Servus hesitated to continue. In normal circumstances she would be exiled, but get on with it, Servus. Nephastus snapped at him. Servus glared at Nephastus as he continued his statement, which he was reading from a floating parchment in front of him. It had the seal of the king at the bottom of the paper. Nephastus raised her eyebrows at him. She will be punished by death. Alas, Servus said the very thing he feared. He looked towards their king, but he didn't even bat an eye on the situation. Pure hatred was the only thing his eyes reflected. Losing hope, Servus simply shook his head in dismay. If the king's heart was lost in darkness and anger, Azalea's heart drowned in sorrow. She was never the one to worry for her own self, or her own death, but this time, her heart was filled with sadness simply because of their broken love. How was it that in just a snap, everything changed? Where did the king who loved her go? Who was the monster in front of her, looking down at her like some dirt he wished to be gone? Her heart shattered like tiny pieces of glasses. And it was all because of a simple misunderstanding. If only he would just listen, but it seemed that the darkness had already spread across his whole heart. He shut his doors and no one would be able to enter it. Knowing that, Azalea's tears continued to flow from her eyes. As if the weather synchronized with Azalea's heart, the clouds darkened. Though there was no rain, the loud thunder could be heard every now and then from the surroundings. Along with it, were the cries of the maidens, yes, every one of them, including those maidens from the wicked Pentos. Only this time, their dresses were no longer in the shade of dark green. Some had pastel color in them, but mostly turned into beige or cream or other colors. And in the midst of them was rose, lily, and iris. Indeed, kindness spreads. If only the one who spread it was with them, perhaps she could enlighten the king with her brilliance. Selena, Mites, and the rest of the Sortis family that was left in the floating kingdom, pleaded to the king. Unfortunately, their cries were nothing but noise to him. His face remained like that of a devil, unwavering, and not uttering a single word. At the raise of the king's hand, all the generals surrounded Azalea like the hands of a clock. They gathered spiritual energies to their palms and aimed at the dethroned queen. Weapons made from different elements formed from their magic and aimed at Azalea, who remained the crying, lifeless doll that she had become. Alas, the king's raised hand fell down in a snap, signaling them to fire their weapons towards Azalea. Though some of them hesitated, they obeyed the command of their king. Fuos. One by one, their magic flew towards Azalea, accepting her death. Azalea closed her eyes, and then a sudden light blinded everyone. No. A firm and angry voice echoed throughout the whole place. Along with the voice was a very strong gust of wind blowing from the center of the Colosseum, carrying the dust of the ground with it. Then, a shattering and hissing sound, the different colored spiritual energies from the weapons scattered like glitters in the air. For some reason, they were broken. Everyone's eyes marveled. For who in the world, except the judges and the king, would be able to break the general's magic? And all of them. They waited for the dust and smoke to clear out, eagerly anticipating what suddenly appeared from the center of the stage. A few moments passed, and finally, all the smoke cleared out, and at the center of the stage was a woman, apart from Azalea, with her hands stretched out to her sides, as if protecting her. That wasn't all, for the woman who stood tall was dressed in white. And not just any white, it was glowing, shining like the sun from above. Her platinum blonde hair danced beautifully with the wind. With her kind, yet firm and angry voice, she spoke up, with words that echoed once more throughout the whole Colosseum. There will be no more deaths. And after her declaration was a loud cry of a dragon. Ruah. The moment they heard it, everyone trembled at their feet. Their eyes and mouth were left wide open, as they were reminded of the prophecy that every magi knew: make way. Make way. The dragon roars, for our Savior has come, with dresses pure as white, and eyes burning yet calm. Favored by the Supreme, she stands, a maiden that is not one of us will save us.